Alright. We're live. Let's go. There's my controller. Let's go on for our first encounter of the night. Well, I guess of the day. Alright. Come on, Dialga. Please sparkle for me. I really, really would like you to sparkle. Okay, no, not shiny. Oh, why am I getting feedback? Why am I getting feedback? Okay, that's what it was. So for some reason, like, Discord does not, like, when I exit out of Discord, it doesn't want to keep me on up. Okay, there we go. Hey, King Boy, how you doing? Glad to see you're here. Where's the... There it is, there's the counter. Encounter counter. Change that to 231. How's everyone doing today? How is everyone doing today? Glad to see everyone is here. I'm certainly know I'm doing well. I hope you're all doing well. Hey, Twisted J, let me go grab your link. I always like to grab the links of my friends whenever they pop in. Hope you're doing well. I know I'm doing well. Now encounter number 232. Not shiny. I mean, it's just kind of hilarious that I keep getting shinies like off screen, like not off screen, but like when doing other things, and that's like, oh yeah, when I'm actually looking for a shiny, it's just not there. But I mean, it's kind of funny because I was scolded last night. But how are you doing? Hope everyone is doing well today. And there is Twisted J's link. Please go give him some love. He's a great creator and a great person. Number 233. Come on. Come on. I'm glad you're doing well. Glad you are doing well. 233. Nope. We'll get it eventually. We will. I'm sure we will get the Dialga eventually. It's just going to be a matter of time before we get it. It'll take some time. It'll be some stuff. It'll take some time. Yep. Hopefully everyone is doing well today. Oh wow, 5 people already. Thank you all for showing up. The more people, it means a great deal when all you guys show up today. Yeah, there should be some stuff going out today. We will have another episode of the analysis series going up. That should be, fun. It'll be the first episode of Alola, which Alola's huge. Like, Alola is absolutely just freaking gigantic. It will not shock me if that one comes out to be our first, 4-parter for a single, 4 parts for a single game. Because of just how much there's. Hey, Zinnia, glad to see you're here. Hopefully that you will bring us the dragon luck. But also, I don't know if any of you guys remember from last night, but Zygarde, the whole Zygarde hunt thing, is probably gonna be a bit more passive now. Instead of hunting Zygarde, we're gonna be primarily hunting Rayquaza. Mostly it's just down to... It's just how annoying Zygarde is to actually hunt. Just the amount of annoyance with the battles is just absurd. And what you actually require to in order to be able to beat it is just, you need, ice types. You need, really good ice types. You need a good amount of damage use. That's why you need the ice types. It's just, and that's not always available. Even, fairy type moves will not do enough damage because it just has so much spread damage that it just destroys everything before you can actually beat it. That's why we're going to be doing the Rayquaza stuff, because Rayquaza, you don't really require that in order to get past it. It's good to have those, but it's more so just for, your guys' convenience that it's not going to be me just, raging at how bad the game is and just how everything is. Yeah, summon Rayquaza, not Dialga, yeah. Hopefully we will get the Rayquaza. I'm pretty sure I actually haven't caught Rayquaza yet in Shield and Sword, so that should help. But I mean, Shiny Dialga is about the same color as Rayquaza. I know. Thank you. I mean, Shiny Dialga is like the same color as Rayquaza, I think. Sort of, kind of. But yeah, I mean, I hope we're gonna get it. I definitely hope we're gonna get it. I think we're gonna get Dialga at some point. I mean, we're gonna get it at some point, obviously. It's just a matter of how long it actually takes. But yeah, I might make this a bit of a longer one because I'm kind of feeling lucky today. I'm feeling a bit lucky. But yeah, it's just a matter of like if we can have like enough stuff to talk about for everything, because that's one of the big issues that just is a common occurrence with anytime we do these things. It's just I kind of run out of stuff to talk about, and I just keep rambling on about things. And if I don't really have much to talk about, then I just kind of go into potato brain mode, and I kind of feel like ending off early because I can't like think of anything to say, and I don't want to be just sitting here in silence for, you know, like 20 minutes each time between encounters, just occasionally saying a thing, because that's not fun to watch. That's not fun to watch. So it just comes down to really how things go. But I'm glad to see all you guys are here. And for those of you who are, of course, interested in the Kaiju Lock, that's going to be the end finale of... Excuse me. The end finale of that is actually going to be going on soon. Yeah, it is more of a turquoise, that is true. But yeah, the finale of the Kaiju Lock is going to be tomorrow, hopefully. We have 5 more battles to go over in the Kaiju Lock, so there is that, which is going to be really good. And I am a bit apprehensive about the end of the Kaiju Lock, just because, you know, it's just there's going to be so much for it. We have a lot of battles in terms of, like, well, not a lot of battles, but, like, we have big battles that we have to go up against. There we have the rematched Elite Four, then we have Red. And Red normally doesn't scare me. It's just with the sheer fact of levels that's on his side is the thing, because I can get so many rare candies in preparation, because I've actually stocked up on a solid number of rare candies in, of course, you know, preparation for this thing. But there's only so many rare candies I can actually get before the battle, which means that we're gonna have to either have a few, like 2 or 3 things that are actually like maybe close to competently leveled for him, or, you know, everyone's going to be a bit, you know, higher leveled, you know, but everyone's going to be a couple of levels lower than him, which is the big sort of thing I'm kind of worrying about, is that. But I have a plan. I very much have a plan. But yeah, there is, it's really just that, you know, just I have plans. I have made preparations for everything. Because there is that, there's all the preparations that need to be made for that, and I am working on those at the same time I'm doing a bunch of other things. But yeah, those should be some shorts coming. There also should be some, you know, other things going on. So I also got to record the rest of Fusion and Shovel Knight, the Shovel Knight saga of Plague of Shadows, which still is going to be a thing. But yeah, so I mean, we got enough stuff to fill time. It's gonna be chaotic, but I enjoy the chaos. The chaos is always good. And again, this is what I mean by rambling nonsense. All I do is just ramble. I mean, it's fun to ramble. It is very fun to ramble. But yeah, that's all I do. That's all I do. Is just ramble all day, ramble all night. Because that's what a creator does. We just a combination of nonsense we say, gibberish we do, and things. Let's go to 241. And oh my gosh, and that was just a mess up right there. Nope, no shiny. Why are you preparing so much for a color? You're hilarious. You're hilarious, Drogain. You are absolutely hilarious. But it wasn't up to you, actually. How are you doing? Also, let me go grab your link. He has a lot of Pokemon Go stuff. Yeah, I don't really give any thought to Go anymore. I mean, I play main series competitive. I play VGC, and it's like going from main series VGC to Go. It's like I can't do it. It's just a thing of the way that I think. Not that there's anything bad about Pokemon Go, it's just that not... I'm there for the competitive. I come for one reason, and I come to win. And just with the way Go is, it's just a bit wonky. But 242. We're making our way. We're making our way to the eventual shiny. I mean, again, as I always say, every encounter is one encounter closer to every encounter is one encounter closer to the shiny. But I am glad to be back and like mentally more fortitude now, because I was absolutely just knackered last night, and of course, you know, the whole day, because I got barely any sleep. Now I am fully rested, fully restored, and fully coherent. So we can do that. So I'm actually like more focused. I'm more able to do things, and just, you know, able to deliver some better content. Because what I did the entirety of the night before we actually, well, the morning before, because it was actually around that to 3 a.m. They've changed some things with status debuffs, but I mean, again, that's the thing is, that's the reason why I don't really care for GBL, is that when it comes to like the main series battling things, you know, the official VGC format, you can see what the enemy team is. You have team preview, and like for me, that is what any competitive format for Pokemon needs, is you need team preview. Because then at that point, there's no strategy, there's just use what numerically has the best chances of winning. And then it's just a pure numbers game. It's one of the reasons why I don't really like GBL that much, is because the game is just pure numbers. You can, I would say probably 96% of the time, depending on what the lead is. Hey, Mudkip. Lemon. How are you doing, Mudkip? Like, pretty much depending on what the lead is, you can probably, I'd say 95% of the time, tell who's just going to win based on that head matchup. Purely because one side will numerically have an advantage in terms of either typing or energy. And, yeah, you know, shield baiting can potentially get a win here or there, but shield baiting is still a huge luck of the draw thing. It's just, will they fall for the bait, or will they not fall for it? It's mostly down to just luck. And, you know, every person is gonna, of course, shield differently. So some people like me, where it's like, I will just don't really shield certain things, or I have a numeric, like when it came to Master League for Dialga, you know, fitting we talk about Dialga right now. For Master League season, I think it was season 1 or season 2, whichever season I got to rank 10, or like beyond rank 10, whatever the highest rank was, I numerically worked out how to have Dialga leads beat Melmetal, and that's not good. That's not good. But yeah, basically, I figured out a numeric way for Dialga to beat Melmetal leads, and it basically was like, well, my Dialga can beat their Melmetal, so I can beat their Dialga counter. And at that point, well, I've taken their Dialga counter down, my Dialga counter is still available to take down their Dialga, and I have Giratina. So it's like, it basically came down to, I know I have created a mathematical way of almost ensuring victory if they do the very, very common thing, even if they don't shield their Melmetal from my Dialga using, you know, Draco Meteor or Iron Head, well, I've still dealt a huge amount of damage to their Melmetal, which point their Melmetal is incredibly weak, mine can easily beat them. And it's basically like, numerically, I have found a way to almost always win. And that's basically what GBL is. Numerically, there is a team composition that will almost always win at a higher rate than any other team. And then people just use that team as the exact same. It's kind of just like, it's one of the reasons why I'm not a big fan of it, is just, there's no counterplaying. You know, people say, well, yeah, you can, you know, switch, you can, you know, third shield, switch, things like, no, that's not counterplay. You are locked in for 1 minute against certain things. you can, charge move shield stall, like, clock stall with, of course, charge moves. That's one thing that I did in, the Sylph Cups, was just, of course, timer stall with things like Power Up Punch Poliwrath, but that only works so far. It can't always work, and I'm glad to see that you're doing well and playing BDSP. How far into the game are you? Or are you just like shiny hunting? Because I'm shiny hunting, as you can tell. I'm also like preparing for the difficulty analysis, but yeah, it's like with GBL, it's like just laddering on Smogon. You can't see what the other, even though, well, at least with Smogon, like, you can see what the other team is when you see it, so you have a coherent strategy, and you can start formulating a counter plan the second you start seeing what they have. You can say, okay, this is likely what they're going to be leading off with, this is likely what their team composition is going towards for their playstyle. You see, like, a Stealth Rock setter, like, okay, well, that's probably going to be their lead. Yeah, the music is absolutely fantastic. I did pick, like, a lot of great songs, and for things like that, and it's like, Sea of Time, like, that's going to be perfectly fitting for Dialga, because, it's Dialga, Sea of Time, Dialga. It's either that or, like, Temporal Town. I was like, you know what, Sea of Time is better. I like Sea of Time more. It's such a great quality song. We are almost at 250 encounters. Also, so glad to see all of you guys are coming out this early for it. I guess I should make stuff a little earlier in the day, because, like, you guys are, of course, here earlier. It really does depend, but I'm still kind of trying to figure out what my schedule for everything is gonna be. But again, it is great to see you guys here. PP was nerfed for PvP and Go, and defeated the Elite Four in BD, but he's kind of boring. I have a hard time accepting that someone found this game boring, because this game is actually pretty upwards towards the hardest games in the series. The other thing you gotta remember, Drogon, probably, is that you've played, Sinnoh before. Like, you've probably played, Diamond, Pearl, or Platinum, so you know most everything that this game has in terms of, tricks and everything. And it's kind of a case of, like, we know what to expect from this game, so we kind of can't really look at it as a more fair thing, because we have already kind of experienced it before. There's not much, surprise factor stuff. It's kind of a problem with the remakes and really remasters, where they need to kind of go above and beyond for a lot of things. And when you want to make a faithful remake, you kind of can't really do that. But yeah, Legends is going to be interesting. My hypothesis for Legends is that it's basically just going to be like Pokemon Ranger. Because a lot of people have said that we really like Pokemon Ranger. It was a great spin-off. People who played it, of course, really liked it. And it's not going to be, a Breath of the Wild style game. It's not going to be a Breath of the Wild style game where it's, big open, fight everything. It's like that. It's not. It's going to be probably more like Pokemon Ranger, where it is repeatedly capturing things to fill out a dex of sorts. And, just think that it's more likely going to be just Pokemon Ranger, which is going to be good. The thing is, the teams that the Elite Four and actually some of the earlier teams actually have, they're actually competitive grade level teams. It's really great. It's like, it's just funny how people said before this game came out, like, oh, this game is gonna be so easy. I feel so bad for people who are gonna get this game, so it'll be so easy. The teams that the AI has are competitive grade. It's like, you people don't know what you're talking about. You people are just complaining just to get clickbait. Which is unfortunate, which is an extremely unfortunate thing that's become such a common thing to do with the Pokemon community, is just clickbait complain. Because these games are actually extremely high quality. And these games are basically made as a love letter to the fans of these games. Like, we know you enjoyed this game. We will revive this game and give you a great version of this game. But people only want to complain because they just want to complain, and it's just really, really sad. But again, thank you everyone for coming out today. If you are new, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. It really helps with the algorithm, and just help the channel grow and everything. So thank you for stopping in, and of course, thank you everyone. Encounter number 253. Alright. We're definitely getting there. We're slowly getting our way there. We are almost a 20th. We're actually a little bit of 20th way. Same BSG and Puppet Daily Form Final Team. I mean, even prior to that, it was still pretty good. It was still pretty good for like up until the Elite Four. It was just a lot of the earlier ones were not as well put together as the Elite Four. And again, we also have played Sinnoh before, so it's kind of hard for a game that we haven't played, you know, a bunch of times before to be more than exciting. I mean, I was excited for it because I actually only played Sinnoh in the form of Platinum outside of the first time I played Diamond. I only played Diamond once. Reason why I got mind business and not... Yeah, that is generally the best policy. Xenia, that is the best policy. That's one of the reasons why when I make stuff, I look at things from, like, the objective stat and numerics perspective. And I don't, like, say this game is bad just because I look at what is the actual quality of the game. It's like, it's one of the reasons why even if I don't like X and Y, I'm like, I will not say, like, this thing is bad just because it does these things. It's bad because of these reasons, which are numerically showable. You know, or things that are, like, numerically showable. Like, again, excitement and things like that. That generally goes hand in hand with people, either Pokemon that they like, getting something, or just a new experience. One of the reasons why this game probably isn't going to be exciting for a lot of people is because of the case of something is better in your mind. You know, something is always better when it comes to the way you imagine something to be than really what it actually is for most cases, because you overhype something mentally. It's like, people who had, you know, Sinnoh remakes in their mind, they probably imagined, you know, the most extravagant, crazy things imaginable that was all gonna happen, and like they probably imagined, oh, it's gonna be like Shield and Sword level visuals with the amazingness of Sinnoh, and you know, all these just kind of crazy things that are unrealistic. And then, well, this is what we get. It's like, oh, I don't like this because this isn't what I expected. Well, you expected something that was going to be so absurdly over the top, it would never be done. What do you expect when you over-expect things? It's unfortunate that that's kind of the world we live in, where, I mean, it's something that does kind of come from ROM hacks, where ROM hacks have kind of given people this almost idealized version of games, where they are, you know, super, super hard, where there's all these things in them, and just, you know, all this kind of crazy stuff in them. And then when people play the actual games, well, they have none of those things, because they were meant as pure wish fulfillment. There we go. BD is not a bad... Yeah, it's a great game. It was boring of a veteran, but... Yeah, I mean, like that's the thing, is, like, it's one of the reasons why I am extremely critical of veteran players of the games. It's because veteran players will generally be the ones to complain the most, because they're kind of jaded. You know, older players are some of the most jaded in a community, because either they've been a part of it for so long that they've really forgotten how to just have fun, or, again, the unrealistic expectations. Because one thing that a lot of older players don't really realize is how easy the earlier Pokemon games used to be. The reason why people struggled with them early on was because they just didn't know how to play. You know, you play the original games now with, you know, modern understanding knowledge. Well, I know where all these TMs are. I know what TMs are good, what TMs are bad, what stats are good, you know, what stats work ways. And you just didn't have that understanding back in the day. You have that now, so the newer games feel easier because you know how to play now. Whereas you just didn't know how to play back then. It was, you know, basically just blindly feeling around and stumbling around. You know, I equate it oftentimes to just stumbling around in the dark to having a flashlight and a map. You know what to do now. Doesn't mean it's not any harder or easier. It just feels harder, or it feels easier. And And this is just my logic for when it comes to people complaining about the games. If you are going to complain about a game and just say, well, these things are bad just because of XYZ arbitrary thing, you're not a fan of the game. You know, if you're someone who's going to be, like, routinely bashing on, you know, say, for example, you know, you're bashing Shield and Sword, or, like, you're bashing, well, not even just Shield, but you're bashing, like, say, Gen 3 and just beyond Gen 3, well, you're not a fan of Pokemon. You are a fan specifically of Gen 1 and Gen 2, and you bash everything else. You don't enjoy the series. You enjoy a very narrow sliver of it. It's like how I say, if, you know, you can be a Star Wars fan if you like all the stuff. If you like a tiny portion of things, like, say, you only like the original trilogy of Star Wars, I wouldn't say that makes you a Star Wars fan, because you like a tiny, minuscule sliver of what there actually is. What it actually is far beyond that tiny little portion, and if you're not going to at least take into account the existence of the vastness that is the rest of it, you can't call yourself a fan of it because you refuse to acknowledge it exists, or you just say it is bad. So that means a majority of the series you like, or claim to say you are a fan of, you do not like. So how can you say you're a fan of something you largely don't like? It's like this, the Pokemon community is this massive, and I call it a bag of contradictions. It is a massive bag of contradictions. Because that's really what it is. It's just a giant bag of contradictions. Nope. Not shiny. Give me my shiny Dialga. Yeah, it's like, the other thing also was, like, a lot of the older players, they will pretty much just rely on the Pokemon they know. Like, they will use things that they really, really like, because they know those Pokemon, and generally the Pokemon they like tend to be really good. So, they have an easier time because they know how those things work. That's why whenever I play a new game, I force myself to... Hey, Blue Boy, how you doing? I force myself to only use new things to that region. Like, say, I play Alola. Well, I do this now, but say I play Alola. I will only use Alolan Pokemon, or Pokemon that have an Alola form. And actually, yes, Mudkip, I have failed a shiny. The shiny I failed was actually amusingly in Sinnoh. It was a shiny Onix. And that shiny Onix KO'd my entire team. And I didn't catch it. Because it was a playthrough of Platinum I did, where I had all three starters. I had, Chimchar, Piplup, and, Turtwig. And, well, it's like, okay, well, this thing just destroys my Chimchar. And I can't hit it. Well, Chimchar's gonna do no damage to this thing because it's a rock type. I can't hit this thing with a grass type move or a water type because it'll just annihilate it. So I just have to just chuck Pokeballs out and just get my entire team, because it was like I think 5 or 6, maybe 10 levels higher. Yeah, I mean I have largely done that style of team construction where it's just I only use Pokemon from the games. There was one time I didn't, and that was when I played Ultra Moon for the first time, where I actually, well, even when I did that, I had only Pokemon that I had never used before, but only 2 of them were actually, 3 technically, but one of them was an Alolan Raichu, and the other was a starter, and then the third one was the event Lycanroc, so it's I don't really consider that. It's yeah, that's really the one time I didn't, and I really hated it, because I just thought back, I don't like the fact that I did that. I wanted to use only new stuff, and it's just, that was where it's solidified, I will only do this from now on, and it just makes it more fun, because you don't know what you're using. I also make an effort to always use different things, when I played, my Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl teams. I never used a Hippowdon before. I've never used an Abomasnow. I'd never used a Honchkrow. I'd never used a Toxicroak. And I'd never used an Electivire. I'd also never used a Magmortar. I'd never used a Ms. Drevis, a Ms. Magias. I've never used, like, a lot of these things. So it's like, I like having that new experience. Because there's times when I play, I will use the things that I don't know most of the time. That's what I do most of the time. But then there's times where when I play, I will do what I call, like, the All-Stars team, where it's basically my favorites from that region. So, like, for example, All-Stars for Unova, it would be, like, Samurott, Gigalith, Volcarona, Haxorus, and, like, Darmanitan, and, like, the Crocodile, like, things that are all really, 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 really good. Or, like, things that I really, really like. But most of the time, I won't do that because I want to experience new things. It makes the game more. It's why I can play these games, 7, 8 times over, and always just have fun, more fun than the last time that I played, because I'm getting to use new things I'd never done before. Filled 2 shinies, both Wormhole and Altaria, because, oh no. Oh no, oh that's painful. One thing for Ultra Wormhole shinies, if you save before the encounter, as in like you're inside the world, you save and then you encounter it, it will always be shiny if it is shiny. I've actually done this before. Hey, Zorski, okay, how are you doing? How are you doing? Glad to see you. Are you new here? So let me check to see if you are a content creator, Zorski. Hope you're doing well. You are a creator of content. Let me go and put your link here. If you have not, please get them. They are pretty small. Let's get them to 40. To be fair, if you are a trainer in Pokemon Battle, you'd... The funny thing is, I mean, that is true, but... Yeah, I mean, Generation 5 is my favorite generation, which is funny because it was not my first generation. My first was Generation 3. Oh, you can ask questions. Oh, hi. Hello there. Yeah, the bee still be shiny, but yeah, that's something a lot of people do that they forget to say before going in the wormholes. But I mean, yeah, I like a lot of Generation 5 Pokemon. The funny thing is, Generation 3 was like the first time I was introduced to Pokemon, and I love Salamence. Salamence is one of my favorite Pokemon. Hey, Anxious Christian, speaking of him, let me go grab your link. He's like, I love Hoenn. I like a lot of Hoenn Pokemon. Well, I actually don't really like a lot of Hoenn Pokemon. Like, I like Metagross, I like Salamence. But, I mean, I like Milotic. But, despite Hoenn being, like, the first region I ever, like, experienced, like, saw, it isn't my favorite. Not by, like, a long shot, and even many of the Pokemon in Hoenn are not especially super favorites. And actually, the same kind of goes for Sinnoh, where, I like a lot of Sinnoh Pokemon. I mean, Garchomp, Magnezone, some of my favorites. But Unova is like almost like half of my favorites are from Unova, just because like they're that awesome. Unova Pokemon are just that awesome. And also again, and thank you to everyone who's actually popping in right now. If you are new, do not forget to leave a like and a subscribe if you're new. It helps all times with the channel. And just the algorithm, the eldritch deities that control all our lives. Hey, Christian Della, how you doing? Shiny Honchkrow. Shiny Honchkrow is one that I'm going to be hunting for at some point, because I love purple. Purple is my absolute favorite color, and I would love to get a Shiny Honchkrow. The Lore Keeper approves of that. Yep. I mean, Salamence was the first Pokemon I ever saw. It was Drake's Salamence, and it's like... This thing is greatness right here. And it's like... It's not even just, oh, first impression, I see Salamence, I like it. I like Salamence because it is a great Pokemon. It is very strong. It is fun to use in competitive, and I've just had a lot of fun using it in competitive because it's just so strong. I mean, Aerolite Hyper Voice, Aerolite Return, its awesome moveset, Intimidate on Send-In with Moxie as a hidden ability for just destruction on setup. Are you freaking kidding? That's one of the best things out there. I mean, I love Gyarados with Moxie Airstream. Like, it's one of the things that I generally do when I have a Gyarados and Dynamax things. And then it's like, Salamence is literally all of that, but dialed up and cranked up like 20 notches. On top of also just looking more awesome. It's like, Salamence is a beast. Doing good. A friend of mine gave me shiny nice! Right now I'm getting time for second run of beating the Elite Four. Nice! So you're going for the Elite Four rematches, Chris? So you're going for the rematch of the Elite Four then? Because, unless you mean like you're playing Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl and you beat it in one and now you're beating it in the other one. Because there's two different ways. Because there's two different ways. And glad to see that everyone's coming in here. Glad to see everyone is coming in here. It's great to have all you guys. Let's go. Come on, get me 2. We're gonna go a little past 300. All right. I mean, we're almost to 1/10. I mean, we're not even close to 1/10 of odds. What am I saying? What am I even saying? I'm a little sad the shiny charm doesn't work, but at the same time, I'm kind of glad it doesn't. But I mean, at the same time, there is that. Got myself a hidden ability. Nice. So, how do you get hidden abilities in BDSP? Is it just you get them in the underground, or is it like through radar chaining? I actually don't know how you get them. Because I actually didn't even think that they had the hidden abilities until I saw for the analysis series. Like, oh wow, these Elite Four members have hidden abilities on their things. So that means that the hidden abilities are in this game. So I actually didn't even know that was a thing. It's like, so how do you get them? Worst Gen 5 Pokemon, that is a very hard thing to say. Not really because there's so many, but just because it's actually hard to pick one that is not great, because most of them are actually pretty good. But I'd say probably Watchog is probably Watchog. Yeah, it probably would just be Watchog if I had to say that, if I had to pick a single worst one, because even like Watchog, sure, it's not like the most appealing thing in the world to be, but I kind of do like what they did for, like, in terms of how its design is. I like the way that it is designed. It does look pretty good. The ability Patch, the item in the Battle Tower. Yeah, like that's a bit much to get. That's Battle Tower ability Patch is definitely not an easy thing to grab. 273. Nope. But I'm glad everyone is doing well today. A little bit later today, we will be having the next installment of the difficulty analysis series going up, so that's going to be pretty hype. It's going to be the first episode of Alola. Hope to see all of you guys stick around for that. It's going to be a bit of a big thing. Because, yeah, like, Alola, for editing all of that, it's huge. I don't know if Alola is going to be, like, Alola in terms of, like, just Ultra Sun or just Ultra Moon is going to be bigger than just, like, Shield and Sword. Because, like, Shield and Sword is huge in terms of all the battles there are. But the raw recording footage time isn't as long as I would have thought. And the raw recording footage for Ultra and Ultra Moon and also Sun and Moon is longer than I expected, so I mean, that could also just come down to when I was recording for those two things, I have either more gaps between things or I was talking faster in one than the other, because I do tend to talk a little bit quickly some of the time, as you saw earlier today. You know, with this thing, I do tend to talk a bit quickly. So it could be just mostly that. I will also, like, I mean, I'll probably have to count up the number of pages each thing was. But yeah, there's a lot. And I mean, then we're gonna get to BDSP, which I actually haven't finished recording everything for the BDSP analysis yet, but it's like only a few pages left. But then again, BDSP was only about like 14 pages long for the whole script, rather than like 30 to 50, which really, like, 30 to 50 pages is basically everything that X and Y up to Sun and up to Shield and Sword had, with the exception of Let's Go, which that Yes, I do have, I do do Zygarde Dynamax Adventures, Zorsti, but we're not going to be doing them as much for streams, just because the thing about the Zygarde raids is they're just a pain. They're just a giant pain to do, and I'm going to be doing a lot of them off-stream, most likely, so, we can, like, work some stuff out off-screen for, like, what times to do those, because I would very much like to do those, just with, you know, people, but just not on stream, because it's just really, really annoying to do them on stream, because we would do maybe 7, 8, 9, 10 Dynamax raids for Zygarde per stream, but we would only win maybe 2 or 3, maybe 4 if we got really, really lucky when we had 3 people in the things. We had a less than 50% win rate, and it's just all down to RNG. It's really not a fun thing to do with, you know, on stream with you having, you know, like a 2-hour time limit. Off stream, I'll definitely do a lot better. Oh yeah, Zygarde erodes your sanity. It definitely erodes your sanity. But I mean, it's mostly when you're on stream it erodes your sanity. If you're just doing it like off screen, not really on a big time crunch, or just, you know, kind of like you're doing it more casually, I would say, it's definitely much more palatable to do it that way, just because you don't have to be, you know, talking 120% of the time, which is definitely a thing with streaming that is, like, actually kind of difficult, is just the constant keeping up talking and stuff like that. Doing it off stream with just, you know, doing it in the background, working on some other things, like, when I would do, you know, the off stream, I do have a Discord. We actually have a link to the server in the description below. It's actually all the it's at the bottom of the description. You click that, you're invited to the server. If the link is broken, tell me and I'll go just reset the link. But yeah, we do have a Discord, and so we can do that there. But yeah, doing it off stream, I'd actually be down to do with an Ozzy. If you want to help for that, I would very much love for the assistance. But yeah, it's like, just, Zygarde is a nuisance to do, but we're going to be doing it off stream just for that reason. It's just, you know, doing it on a big time crunch with most of the time being failing. I just don't want to basically have, like, my entire stream of the Zygarde things just to be me complaining about how much I don't like doing them. I'd rather do it down to, you know, maybe like a 20-minute thing of, like, the raid we do to actually beat it, and then the reaction, rather than, like, all however many it takes us to actually get there being recorded and, you know, posted, because it'll just take forever. It would just take for freaking ever. Yeah, I actually do have a Discord. I can actually go grab the link for it and just, like, put it up in the chat box if anyone wants to get it. But yeah, it's like, I'm really, really glad to see, you know, all of you guys here. And again, for anyone else who, you know, hasn't joined, you can join the Discord in the description below. I don't have Nightbot set up, because I don't know how to set it up, but at some point we'll probably have to do that. This is encounter number 280. We are, it's not a shiny. Thank you. We're probably, like, maybe like an 11th or something, like maybe a 12th or something of the way to getting to odds, potentially, I think. Not exactly sure when we're gonna get it. Just eventually we will get it. I mean, I will be happy to finally get the Zygarde. I hope you can get that shiny quick. Oh yeah, I also hope to get it quick, because it's just like, we've gone over odds for Ho-Oh. We have gone over odds on the Ho-Oh hunt. I'm looking for something to hunt because I want 3 shinies before I beat the league. Yeah, that's nice. Yeah. With the Dynamax Adventures, the shiny odds are 1 in 300. So with the shiny charm, it is 1 in 100. But you're not going to be able to get the shiny charm before beating the league. So there is that. But yeah, yeah, I'd be very much down to help with that. I have Zygarde in the roster, so there is definitely that. The easiest, I'd also say getting, like, Dynite Ore I would do Dynite ore grinding, because the easiest one to grind for Dynite ore is actually Kartana. I don't know if you have Kartana in your game, but it is the easiest one to get. Alright, you have the charm already? Nice! So you got the shiny charm before beating the league? Nice. Okay, good. I mean, I guess it actually might be possible to get the shiny charm before beat the league, because everything is available before the league. There's no, like, post-game area where there is then the stuff, because that's one thing that's annoying about a lot of the other games is they do that. Of course, I used the... Oh. Oh, used a gen bot. Oh. Yeah, I don't like bots. I mean, as long as, like, you, like, just deleted the... After you registered the thing, you, like, deleted them. That's a bit more okay, but as long as you didn't keep them, yeah, I have a bit of a not... I mean, I've battled against hackers before. Like, I've gone to tournaments and battled against them, and so I have, like, a... Hacking in general is just kind of, like, even, like, bots, genning stuff is, like, not something I generally am okay with. But yeah. Yeah, that's good. That is good. Because it's just, like, when it comes... I mean, it's one of the reasons why, like, I'm glad they have officially made it a lot easier to get, you know, perfect IV things, with, of course, the invention of the bottle caps, because that was the reason why people would, you know, gen and hack things into existence. It just wasn't worth it, because of how long it actually takes to go and get, you know, a perfect IV specimen of, you know, every single thing. Hey, Scrubs Board, how are you doing? Glad to see you're here. But yeah, it's like, it just wasn't worth it to go and get, like, a perfect IV thing of everything, you know, catching a legendary with the right nature, with perfect IVs, was just... It was just kind of insane. I mean, yeah, it's wrong to hack. It is wrong to hack in, like, a team and bring those to competition. It is expressly, you know... There was one person that I was talking to several months ago where it was me saying, like, you know, yeah, people who have, you know, hundreds of, you know, shiny things, you know, with competitive players, like, saying, you do realize, like, all those shinies are hacked, and, like, all those things are hacked. And someone actually said, you know, so what? They're not any better than something you could legally get. You know, you can legally get, you know, a perfect IV thing. There's no difference between a hacked, you know, perfect IV Pokemon and, you know, a non-hacked, you know, one that you made yourself. And I was just sitting there like, what? There is very clearly a difference. You know, yes, it is not good that it takes, you know, a massive time sink to actually get, you know, perfect IV things. It's a bad system that they had. That's why they changed it. That's why they made it so, like, you don't need to actually have perfect IVs anymore to get things. It's because of how bad the system was. But just because the system is bad does not mean it is okay to hack the game. You know, it would be like, the thing that I used, like, as an analogy was like, is it okay for someone to use steroids to get up to, you know, their natural peak level of fitness before they compete in something like the Olympics? Well, because, well, they'll get there anyway, it just saves time. It's like, cheating is still cheating, and it is outright forbidden by the rules. Even if it wasn't outright forbidden by the rules, you're still taking a shortcut to getting something when everyone else is getting it the legitimate way. That does give them an advantage, because not everyone else will have access to that. I mean, it's like, someone like me, before I knew how to, you know, actually get a competitive team with, you know, perfect IVs, or, like, you know, high IVs, and before they started, you know, deliberately making it so legendaries are targeted to always have, you know, 3 perfect IVs, that did give those people an advantage, because not everyone would know, you know, about IVs. Not everyone would know how to get them, and so it did give them an advantage. That is... It is completely false to say, well, it's no different. Like, it is different, because they could spend more time revising their team if something came up. If you know, had a team that you really, really liked, but then something came along, you know, maybe change, you know, okay, well, I gotta, you know, maybe change it, gotta get a new member of the team for this, because, you know, this change here. Getting a new perfect member of the team will take a long time. Whereas a person who hacks it and gens it, boom, perfect thing, perfect replacement, chain's been changed up. Well, they can immediately retool, get back into testing, and immediately get back to, revising. Recycle repeats. Compare that to someone who is legitimately doing it, well, they have to spend a lot more time legitimately revising their team, which prevents them from having as much time to test and improve. So it actually does really, really disadvantage them relative to the hackers. It's like, there's no way to defend hackers in official competitions, because no matter how it is sliced, they do have a default advantage. It's just like, I don't get it. I don't get how people can kind of turn a bit of a blind eye to people hacking in official competitions. Like, I don't get it. Yeah, exactly. Plus, hacked are not real. I mean, the other thing is that it expressly says within the rules they must be legitimately obtained. Like, it says like they must be legitimately obtainable. Like, that on its own, even if it's like they have to say legitimately obtained. It makes no sense how people can actually defend it. But yeah, we've gotten through a good number of encounters today. We've gotten through almost like 70 encounters. Yeah. I wouldn't say you're a bad person for genning them to get the charm. Like, I mean, yes, it is not something that I would say is like the most good thing to do, but you're not doing it to be malicious. Like, it's not malicious. You're not like you're not genning like perfect IV Pokemon to give to people to, you register them and then you immediately delete them. I am not like, I mean, again, I'm very, very anti-hack in every way, but I will acknowledge that yes, there is a sort of sliding scale of hacking, and like hacking just to get something, like the shiny charm, and then removing like all the hacked things because of reasons. I can understand that. I don't agree with it, but I wouldn't say like you're bad for doing that. The only time I'm against hack mods is they use it against other people. Yeah, I mean, I'm not exactly the same way, but like, I mean, I am like against hacking, period. I am against hacking, period, but I will not say like someone is bad for hacking them in to get the shiny charm. I will say like it is more forgivable to do that. But yeah, still, I mean, ideally, like I would say, get the things legitimately, but if it's for that purpose, it's not as bad. Hey, Zen and Monster Man, glad to see you guys are here. But yeah, it's like I am very adamant against hacking. But I mean, everyone does have their own things. Like, so long as you're not like interfering with online stuff, yeah, it's like it is really just a competitive thing that if you do it in competitive, like, no. Like, if you are using hacked stuff in online battles, there is no, like, unless it is accidental, and say you were given a hacked Pokemon, and, like, you given a hacked Ditto. You didn't know it was a hacked Ditto, you used that hacked Ditto to breed your team, that is understandable. That is forgivable, because I've known people that has happened to where they didn't know they were using a hacked Pokemon to breed, other teams, which anytime something as big is considered hacked. Yeah, it's like, alright, that's fine. Yeah, I completely agree. Yeah, for competitive, it's like, you hack in competitive, it's just, in my opinion, if you hack and you hack in competitive, like, that is automatic disqualify. You should not be, like, allowed to, like, recompete and stuff if you do it intentionally. If it is, like, unintentional, again, say that you are given a hacked Pokemon, like a hacked Ditto, use that to make your team, okay. Well, you didn't do it intentionally. It was a pure and simple accident. That's forgivable. That is understandable. But again, if it is intentionally malicious, like, in my opinion, you should not ever be allowed to do things like that. Yeah, it's like it. I mean, again, it comes from like I have seen and gone up against people who are hackers, and it's the most infuriating thing. I mean, it's fun when you just utterly stomp them into the ground because, yeah, you had to hack your your entire team to battle here because you don't know how to actually make a team on your own, and then we just stomped you flat. Yeah, we're talking about hacking competitive Pokemon. We're talking about hacking competitive Pokemon, Drogain. Not the same kind of hacking. Gotta try and drop rolls for the 4 weeks that it was hacked. A friend skill on the frack Pokemon, even though yeah, like it's like if you don't know something is hacked, and then you don't realize it is hacked because it's just a simple innocent accident, that is 100% forgivable in my opinion. You simply didn't know that it was hacked. It was a simple mistake. But if it is intentional, like you know, like I've known people who's like I've known people who they have their friend or someone get them a hacked perfect Ditto, like perfect imposter Ditto, whatever it is, and then they say, well, they got me a hacked Ditto, but I used that hacked Ditto to get a legitimate Pokemon from. It's like that's that's still hacked. Like it is a thing like within the games where a Pokemon where if a Pokemon is used to, if a Pokemon is hacked, and that hacked Pokemon is used to breed another Pokemon, the offspring Pokemon is itself flagged as hacked, meaning any Pokemon that along the way, however many, times prior it was, rebred over and everything like that, it will always be considered hacked. It doesn't matter how many, like you can have a hacked Ditto, breed it with a legitimate Garchomp, get a Gibble, and then breed that Gibble with another one to get another one, and then just do that repeatedly over like a million times. It will not change that every single one of those is flagged as hacked because the original progenitor was itself hacked. And a lot of people don't realize that, and that is where, in my opinion, like that is very forgivable. If you accidentally do that, you get a hacked Pokemon that way, and you do that, that's forgivable. But I have known people who have gotten a hacked Ditto, known it was hacked, and then said, well, I used it to breed a legitimate one, Gibble, so therefore it's not hacked. Like, no, that is unforgivable. That is no. I appreciate you trying to, you tried to do it the right way, but you still did it hacking. You still did it hacking intentionally and knowing, so, no. Yeah, it's a good thing that they apologize for that. Like that is very much a case where where someone should apologize. Because again, it's a simple mistake. I mean, it's something that all of us have done. Yeah, it really, for me, it really depends on the intent. For me, the use of a hacked Pokemon depends on the intent. If you are intending to use a hacked Pokemon for, making other Pokemon for battles or using a hacked Pokemon on your team, and you knowingly do that, that is unforgivable. But if you do it unintentionally, like this is something that, again, friends of mine have done, and it's one of the reasons why I do not, use Pokemon, I get from Wonder Trade for breeding unless I know the person who gives me the thing, and they, don't hack. Then I'm like, yeah. If you get it from a trade, you don't realize it, and you use that, and then it's flagged as hacked. Well, you didn't know. It was simple, not that way. Iron Man the Power, hello, nice to meet you. I was wondering if someone could trade me I should be able to send you one, Iron Man the Power. I should be able to send you one. But are you new here? Imagine being so bad at Fall Guys that you grab them. I have no idea what Fall Guys is, but are you new here, Iron Man the Power? Hello there. There we go. I saw a trainer use with like a shiny of every shiny locked Pokemon. Yeah. It's like people using full shiny hacked teams of Pokemon that are explicitly like shiny locked. It's like those are my favorite people to run up against because it's like they're shiny locked. They're so obviously hacked. It's like it's just hilarious. But yeah, it's like I've been to a VGC tournament before, They don't even have to hide. Yeah, it's like, I know, it's like, I've been to tournaments where people have, done things, and a friend of mine, when they went there, they said, like, oh, this thing is hacked. And my friend didn't know. It's like, okay, thank you for telling me that. And they, like, let them get, basically rebuild their team without the hacked one, and they let them in. It's like, yeah, like, that's understandable. It's because people know that they're just a simple mistake. And if it's a simple mistake, they're not doing it intentionally. But I can send you the shine. I can send you the Turtwig, Iron Man the Power. I should be able to send you one. Hopefully, I don't know if I can, but I might be able to at some point. Shiny Turn. I don't think Shiny Eternatus is legitimate yet. I don't know if has Shiny Eternatus been released. I don't think Shiny Eternatus has been released yet. I thought it was just the dogs that got the shiny forms. I don't think. I mean, Shiny Eternatus is going to eventually get released. I know it's going to eventually, because that's just how it is. Oh, being sarcastic. Okay. Yeah, okay, that's funny. All right, Zorski. I don't know if actually, I think you can get. I mean, talk to me when you said. Actually, I think you can get Turtwig. I think you can get all the starters without trading. Actually, now that I think about it. Now that I actually think about it, because I remember someone mentioning like you don't need to trade to get all the starters. Let me actually check that, because I am fairly certain you can get them in the underground. Yeah, you can get them in the Grand Underground. You actually can continue to get them in the Grand Underground. It is just you need the National Pokedex. So yeah, you actually don't need it. Yeah, you actually can get it in the Grand Underground. It's one of the reasons why I love the Grand Underground, is you can actually get all the starters in the Grand Underground without needing to trade. It's actually amazing. You just need well, it's not after beating Cynthia. It is you need the National Pokedex. So that's the thing. But the thing about the National Pokedex is you get the National Dex not by catching everything in Sinnoh. It is registering everything in the Sinnoh Dex. I mean, like, aside from Manaphy. So like, if you talk to the lady in Celestic Town, you will get that. I mean, again, like, you can battle into, like, KO the Lake Guardians, and then if you run into Mesprit, you get it registered in the Pokedex. So you actually can get it fairly easily that way, but yeah. But yeah, you have to have, like, a KO Dialga. You get Dialga or Palkia from that. You actually don't need to see Giratina, because Giratina is not in the Sinnoh Dex, actually. I mean, I will agree Eternatus is strange, but I like Eternatus' design. I got all the starters and some spare ones, so like, okay, yeah, thank you, Zen, for doing that. I mean, I like Eternatus' design. It looks pretty weird, but that's kind of why I like it. It's like, I like it. It's a good design. It reminds me a lot of Necrozma, and I will say this about Shield and Sword. It, to me, feels like it does lean a bit much on the, like, somewhat paralleling Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, which, I mean, is not a bad thing in my opinion, because I think, very highly of Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. I think they're great games. But it kind of is a bit of a dumbed-down version of that, which, not great. But, I mean, Eternatus, I think, is a pretty good design. I think it's a pretty nice thing, because you gotta remember, Eternatus is an alien. Like, the entire point of Eternatus is that it is not from Earth. That's why it looks so strange. It is an alien. It is an alien space dragon. So it's not gonna look, like Pokemon on Earth do. Which I do like that idea. It's like, it's kind of the same reason why the Ultra Beasts look so strange. They're not from Earth. So why would they resemble Earth things? Well, why would they look like other Pokemon that are on Earth? Because, well, they're not from Earth. They're aliens from outer space. Torterra, because I can't get my plant. Yeah, Gliscor. I mean, you can't get Gligar, though. Yeah, you can't get Gliscor, though. Yeah, that is something that I will say is kind of crappy, but I mean, it's until you realize that Gligar was attainable post-game, and that because of how, like, they did make the thing faithfully, because, like, the way that they did things, because all the item placements in BDSP, I think aside from, actually, I don't even think aside from, like, a few items, like, I think that they actually are the exact same placements on the overworld as they were in Diamond and Pearl, so yeah, locking it into post-game with the Razor Fang is a bit stupid until you remember that they just didn't change it because in the original game, it wasn't available until post-game. So the change to then makes a little sense. It does make a little more sense when you consider that. It is still not the greatest thing that they did that, but it does make sense, even if it isn't a good thing. I do like I only wish the special attack version of the ability. Yeah, that is something. What is its ability is like its ability is pressure, isn't it? Zacian's ability, not Zacian. Eternatus' ability is pressure, right? I thought its ability is pressure. Eternatus. There we go. Number 305. Its ability is. I thought its ability is pressure. Yeah, its ability is pressure. I can understand why they didn't give it like a special version of Zacian's ability. I'm kind of glad they didn't, because like that would just make it ridiculously bonkers. Because like Eternatus is like a weirdly tanky thing where it's kind of like Mewtwo in the way of it's a very good attacker, but it also has like a really solid amount of bulk, which is really, really good for it. And because that's the thing about Mewtwo that I kind of didn't realize until looking at some other things. It was like, this thing's a glass cannon attacker in terms of the way its offensive stats are laid out. But it actually has like a decent amount of defense and HP. And the same goes for Eternatus, where like Eternatus is a really, really good attacker. And it has really, really, really good amounts of defense. One thing people didn't appreciate about Shield and Sword, the amount of Pokemon available at the start of the game. I mean, yeah, I can definitely agree with that. The thing is, people took Shield and Sword for granted. You've got to remember, when it came to Shield and Sword, people would endlessly complain about it because, you know, yeah, Dex Cut's a thing. Like, the Dex Cut was never a bad thing. The Dex Cut was actually a very good thing. One thing people always forget is that the original envisioning of just even Generation 2 was that, well, they were never going to have every Pokemon there. John, hey, how many resets I am on? I am on 306 resets, actually 307 right now, but how are you, Mr. John Tron 8088? Are you new here? I don't recall seeing you here before. How are you doing? Also, love the name. 307 for our encounter now. Come on, please, Dialga, give me that shiny. So how did you find us, if you don't mind me asking, Mr. JohnTron 888? Awesome name, and also I love the profile pic. I mean, I hope we get the shiny soon. I mean, I'd love shiny Dialga at that. But we're probably... I mean, we could probably go for another 20 minutes. We'll probably go for another 20 minutes. Get maybe up to 340 encounters, and then call it a day there. And then, of course, go on our typical mechanized Maxis raids. That and the Incessant One. Oh my... I don't even get I don't even understand what people mean by that tree. Like, what tree are people talking about? Like, I've seen people plastering the tree in places like, what... I don't get it. Like, explain the tree. I just don't get it. Because, like... The other thing that I just find hilarious is, like, people complain about, like, the graphics here or there or some things, and, like, the glitchiness, like, some glitchy things like this. Like, the games have never been stable on a coding level. Look, Smash Cut back to Generation 1, where people were like, oh my gosh, these glitches are so great. Look how, like, all the stuff we can get with these glitches. Like, glitches have been an intrinsic part of Pokemon games since the very beginning. It's just, now we're going to complain about them because we want to complain about them. It's like, Don't double standard. Don't double standard these games. I mean, I'm really glad I stuff. Oh my gosh. That's insane. So many shiny, so many things to get the shiny, but yeah, it's like, I mean, I agree, Shield and Sword were very good games. Like, the thing about Pokemon is, like, when the graphics specific, yeah, that's exactly what it is. Wait, what does Lemon, yeah, Barry has him on, he has his second stage starters in Kanalave City. It makes no sense, but yeah, they do. They are one level over where they should be to evolve, and they don't. And I think that is due to, in the original Diamond and Pearl, he was level 35 there. But they upped his levels by 2 in this game, so that was level 37. It's because back in the original games, he was under-leveled in that game, so he was actually level 35 there, which I know that because of the analysis series of, you know, the Generation 4 games, so he would have had him on Furno actually then, but because they upped the levels a little bit for him, he's now over, and they just might have forgotten to change that. It's weird. It's not great. It might be like it is a bit of an I think I can't even say it's an oversight, because they went through a lot of hoops to make the teams, like, in terms of the Pokemon on them, accurate to what the teams were in the original games. So, you know, I think it's a more of like they kept the teams the same because, like, the overall composition of the sort, also because they wanted to game based on the country creators. Yeah, that's another thing. It's like, I mean, Shield and Sword was always going to be a very different game. It was always going to be a very different game. And people acting like it was going to be the same as another Pokemon game, it just doesn't make sense. It's just like, people need to understand that about Shield and Sword. It's not meant to be the same kind of game as, you know, the games that came before. It's meant to be different. And also thank you Maximum for welcoming our JonTron to the thing. But yeah, it's because Barry is... The thing is, Barry actually has one of the best teams in the entire series. Like, Barry has some of the best rival teams in the entire series, Drogain. It's just the fact that back in the original games, again, back in Diamond and Pearl, and also, I believe, also in Platinum... Actually, no, in Platinum, he was evolved there. It's that back in Diamond and Pearl, he was level 35, so they would not have evolved by that point. And... this is one, and so they, you know, kept the team unevolved because, well, that was his team there. Even if it's up-leveled and doesn't make sense, it's still the same team. This is one thing that I will say I think is a little bit of a criticism of, you know, of this game, and that it is a bit too faithful to a fault. I mean, the original teams of the game were kind of dumb. Like, in the original games, he did have, in the original Diamond and Pearl, he had a number of Pokemon that were over-leveled for being the point where they evolved. Like, I know his Buizel in one fight was several levels over where it should evolve. Like, it should have been a Floatzel, but it was still a Buizel, and it makes no sense. Other than if Barry picks a Fernape, he has... Yeah, back in again, it goes back to a thing of back in Generation 4, they had that, like, back in Gen 4, his team was unevolved there because it was lower leveled, so they kept it unevolved here, even though they increased the levels to be faithful. It's one of the things when I say, like, these games borderline on being too faithful to the originals to a fault. But it makes sense. Like, when you have that context, it does make sense why they didn't evolve them, even if it is pretty stupid. Oh yeah, the Starly is also stupid, but again, same thing as the originals. They didn't have them evolved back then, which, again, back then it was also stupid as well, but it's done for the sake of consistency with the way the team was in the previous games. It's not exactly a good thing that they do that, but it does make sense. Again, but it is stupid. Alright. 3:15. Let's go, let's go. Da-da-da-da, Dialga, please give me... Hey, Zorsty, how you doing? Glad to see you're here. 16. But yeah, yeah, it's like Barry's team is... His team gets better later on. Like, his team definitely does improve. It's... Like, that one, the Kanalave City, is the one that's a bit wonky to the extreme, because it's really, really glaring. It is the one that is very glaring. But yeah, I think, yeah, we're gonna go to about... Actually, we did about 100... We did actually oh, we could go to about 40. We could go to about 330. We could go 335. We'll go for 105 encounters today. And then we'll go for a Mechanized Maxis raid, which I would hope all of you guys will join us for, that Mechanized Maxis raid goodness. I also really have to start figuring out who we're going to go raiding, because that's always the important thing at the end of a stream, is just when do we go raid, and who do we go raid, mostly. So I'm loving this. Like, I like how we're actually chugging along, doing really well with our hunts. I'm glad that we're actually over odds on the Ho-Oh one. The Ho-Oh over odds one is great. Wallace and Gromit Golden Mug. Nice. Excellent. Who should we go raid? Who are we gonna raid? Let's look. Let's start looking for things. Ooh, Beetle is raid. Beetle is hunting. Some new people are doing some stuff. I will have to go. I guess I could also. I mean, I guess I should also like do some like someone who's like small as well. Like just spread this to the small people. So some love to the small peeps. Nope. No sparkles. Wow, they're big. They're also big. They are also big. There we go. They are also big. I mean, I guess we could go to Gauge. Like, I mean, everyone is big. Everyone who is live right now is big. But I guess we'll go for Gauge. I guess we could go for Gauge. For that, Maxis, we all know the best. Oh, please, Drogan, don't even joke. Like, that's not even a funny joke. That's just not even funny. That's just not even funny. Yeah, that's not even funny. Oh, those games sucked. Oh my god, those games sucked. They were so bad. They were so bad. The Discord is not, like, the most active in the world. I think it's got, like maybe 20, it's got, like, 35 or so people in there. But it's not, like, super active. But we have people who are active in there. We just, again, gotta work on growing it. So again, for everyone who is not a part of it, you can join there if you are a content creator. You can, post a link to your stuff whenever you go live or whenever you post something. It's a self-promotion channel. There's memes. I sometimes post pictures of my dogs, the Cloud Floof dogs, the best dogs in the world, because they're precious and they are great. Come on, bring me up to the next thing of... There we go, to 320. The only thing good about... I don't even like Greninja is the thing, so, like, even then I would disagree. I don't like Greninja. It's like... X and Y, the only good thing I would say X and Y did was introduce more people to competitive. That is, in my opinion, the only good thing X and Y ever did. Because, like, one thing that it did was a lot of people, like, they got into it was like, oh, well, these megas, I'll use these megas in battle because I like megas. I just don't like Greninja, because, like, the thing about Greninja is, like, this is, like, my thing for it, is Greninja is one of those Pokemon in the same vein as Mewtwo and, like, Blaziken, where it's just, like, it's trying too hard. The same as Lucario, so like it's trying too hard to be cool. So like it covers like all the bases. Like we're gonna give it all these kinds of things. We're gonna promote it like really, 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 super, super well, and like make it the focal point of everything. To the point where like the series is ramming it down your throat actively, and it's just I don't enjoy that. I don't enjoy it when a series does that. It's like I want to like what I like because I like it, not because, well, the series is basically saying to. And, yeah, it's like, you use it at first. Yeah, that's the great experience. That's the great way to actually experience it. It's one of the reasons why whenever I say, like, it might be, like, the ideal way for exposure of Pokemon to be done is the way, like, Flygon did it. Is the way Flygon did it, where it's not promoted the heck out of, like, they don't ram it down your throat that this thing exists constantly. They have it, it shows up, it does its thing, and it enters quietly, and it leaves quietly. And if there's a following for it, that following is there because people like this thing. That's the way that I look at things. I only ask if it wouldn't join if it's not too big. Yeah, it's not gigantic. Because, like, that's the way that I am when it comes to Pokemon, is, like, don't forcefully promote the heck out of, like, that's why I can't stand Lucario, that's why I cannot stand Lucario as a Pokemon, that's why I can't stand Mewtwo, Blaziken, and, like, Greninja. It's because the series does such a massive, forceful push of, like, we will make this thing the icon. The only thing that I don't... there's no... Other than fire, steel types are weak to ground and fighting. That's what they are weak to. But yes, like, it's one of the reasons why, speaking of fire types, it's one of the reasons why, of all the fire types, like, of all the Pokemon that, like, do get that, like, forced promotion by the community, by, like, the developers, there's one I actually give a pass to, and that is Charizard. The reason for that is because of anything that does get, promotion by the series itself, Charizard's really the only one to actually deserve it, and, like, deserve it in the sense of it was because at the beginning of the series, when the series, first started, the developers noticed, well, Charizard's the really popular one. People really, really like this Charizard thing. We will, put that one in the thing. Because one thing a lot of people don't realize, the anime for Pokemon came out almost 2 or so years after the games. It wasn't like the anime was released alongside the games the way it is now, where, you have the anime release, and the anime is, like, boom, right there alongside, with the new game. It was a 2-year delay. Also, hey, Happy, how are you doing? Let me go and grab your link. So it's like, the reason why Charizard was, picked, and why Charizard does get a lot of, promotion, even though I will say today, it does lean into the territory of it has become very obnoxious with how much, promotion Charizard has gotten lately, where it is excessive and way beyond what it should be. Initially starting out, yeah, it was actually very deserved. It was just when Megas and Gen 6 came out, then it started getting really, really bad and really obnoxious. Prior to that, it deserved every bit of it, because it was naturally the more popular one, and it was just naturally the pieces fell into place, so we will naturally promote what is popular. It's no different than a lot of other Pokemon. And also, if you have not, please go show some love to my good friend Happy and the Palm. Great trader, great hunter, just show them some love. But yeah, it's like that's like the way that I see it. That's the way that I see things, and that's the way that I feel like things in the series should be. It shouldn't be a thing is popular because the devs want it to be popular for marketing purposes. It's there. Drogain, not funny. Quit it. Please knock it up, Drogain. It's not funny. But it's basically like, it's there, it exists. Let it exist, let it lay, let it sit where it does, and then, if it's popular, alright, then it is. But don't, like, warp the games to make it popular, which is... For me, it's like, it's just when it starts to warp the franchise around something is when it becomes a problem for me. Nothing as, like, Greninja itself was like, if you like Greninja because, like, you just like it, like, you had a good experience with it, that's fine. Like, that's the ideal way to like it. It's just, most of the time it's because of, like, everything else. Most of the time it's just, like, everything else, because it's, like, this series wants to make it popular, and it's why I don't really like a lot of the big, you know, super popular things, because this series kind of pushes them, and it just... It kind of goes the whole thing of, like, people who are like, you know, yeah, every Pokemon is someone's favorite, yeah, but then it's like, but we want to see more of, like, the 10 things we actually care about. It's like, you can't have both. It's like, you either want every Pokemon to be something, or only care about the ones, like, the promotional ones, because that's what it is. It's people really only like seeing the favorites of theirs get promoted for, like, the vast mass collective of the community, which is why the whole, like, you know, every Pokemon is someone's favorite thing is kind of complete BS. Because, like, all people want to see is their favorites. Yeah. Yeah, like, it's... Yeah, if it is, like, you like the thing, because, like, it was just... You discovered it independently of, like, the entire series' mass marketing, yeah. Like, I can understand. Like, I'm like, yeah, I respect you for liking that thing because of that reason. Like, you like it because you like it, because you had a good experience with it. With, you know... a lot of them, that's the minority of things. I want to see a game where Pikachu and Charizard are not in the game. I mean that's Unova. I mean, what you have literally just described there, Mudkip, is just Unova. that is exactly Unova right there. Unova was so great. Unova was so great. It's like, that's one of the reasons why I love the fact that they did have such a massive dex cut. Like, it pruned so many Pokemon from the games. You know, you need, you know, in my opinion, people should get used to, like, their favorites not really being there. Oh yeah, Unova didn't have them in there. You didn't get them until they were not accessible until post-game, and even then you had to import them in to the game. You had to transfer them in from that. Yeah, Unova was amazing. Unova was... I will still say this from now until the end of time, Unova is the best game. Like, it is the best game because it was the only game, well, the only games, because both of them do it, to have story-based game, where the game is focused on the story and the characters. Whereas, you know, every other game is like, oh yeah, let's just, like, battle. It's just kind of nonsense. Where, yeah, it's like, it's why it's so great, because the game takes front and center. Well, no, I mean until post-game. I think you get them in post-game, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, it's like you have to transfer them in, which is... You are seriously missing out if you have not played Unova. You are missing out, Mudkip. Unova is fantastic. It's just... It is the best game. They're also the very hard games. And coincidentally, we have on this channel a Let's Play of both Black and White version, as well as a Let's Play of Black 2 and White 2 version. So, if you want to experience right there, you got a great start. Last hunt, or the last encounter for the day, and then we go on our Mechanized Maxis raid. Alright. Please be shiny. Nope. Not shiny. 330. Alright, Mechanized Maxis raid. And I hope all of you will join me in the Mechanized Maxis raid over to Gage's stream, where he is currently hunting in the Great Marsh for some shiny Pokemon. He's also doing BDSP. I think you guys will greatly enjoy what he does. Also, he's a great person. So, let's go show him some love, if you all would not mind. So, again, thank you all for coming out. Thank you all for again, coming out today. Hope you had a very merry Kaiju Crushmas, and we'll have a monstrous new year. Little Daikaiju-Cember send-off. Again, thank you guys for showing up. See you guys over there, and again, have a nice day.